Hello, digital media students. It's been a while. I hope you've been enjoying your online schedule. I hope you have been able to get all your work done and stay somewhat sane during this crazy time. I've been pretty busy with other classes and other students, and this class just kind of fell through the cracks the last couple of weeks. I'm sorry about that. I didn't hear any complaints from anyone, so I assume you were okay with having a couple weeks off. But I'm back, and we have one more unit to finish up. It's the video unit. I love video, and I love video editing. It's always been a fun hobby for me. I think that's one of the reasons I have had a hard time coming up with assignments, because I was just planning on doing it all in the class and explaining it to you and showing you some things, and it just doesn't seem quite as fun having you do it on your own. But anyway, we do need to do some of those assignments. And to be able to get credit for the class and to finish out the year. So just wanted to explain what's going on, what we're doing, especially for this first assignment. We'll probably do 2 or 3 assignments and then call it good for the year. Video assignments. So this first assignment is just showing you, I just want you to be able to get into Adobe Premiere, which is one of the best video editing software programs out there, or apps out there, and you can do some amazing stuff with it. If you have others, you're certainly welcome to use others. It doesn't really matter that much. However, this first assignment, I do want you to download Premiere at home. Most of you have access to that through Adobe, and if you don't, I want you to try to get it and then do this assignment because it's something that Adobe created. Okay, I'm on the Adobe's website, just helpx.adobe.com. Don't worry about this last part. Just type that in and press enter. It takes you to this page. And if you scroll down a little bit, we've got some apps that we can look at and get tutorials. We've done this before, but here's the Premiere one. If you go to desktop right here, because it didn't show them all before, it's got Animate and Audition. We did some in Audition to learn some audio stuff in class. Through this tutorial website, but it's awesome. They give such great tutorials. We're going to use one of them for this assignment. So anyway, I'm going to click on Adobe Premiere, and then I can click right here on tutorials, and then you'll recognize this. This is where we've been before, just not with Premiere. Especially those that took the first digital media class. We did a lot of these in Photoshop and Illustrator. This one in Premiere, I just want you to click on this first one right here, create a project and import a clip, because they give some sample files to practice with right here. So there's a few videos that show you how to do some things in Premiere, but before that, I want you to download this. It's kind of big, but it's not too bad. I have a slow internet and it downloaded pretty fast. So click that, it will download, and it downloads in a folder that you have to unzip. Maybe I can show you that, or at least tell you how to do that. Once it downloads, if you're in Chrome, it'll show up here, down here at the bottom of the browser, and it will go to your downloads folder as well. So once it's done, then you can just open up Adobe Premiere. When you would open it, it looks like this. It's got this startup menu, just like your other programs, Adobe programs now. And you're going to click New Project. Of course, you can pause the video if you're not there, download Premiere, get it all installed, set up on your computer, and download those start files as well, get to that website and all that, and then you can come back, or then you can play it again. Click New Project and title it. I haven't even made up the name for this assignment yet, but it's going to be, I don't know, maybe learn video editing. That sounds good. And don't worry about the settings. For now, just click OK. It changes the settings depending on the video that we bring in anyway, which I like. So, okay. Oh, I need to resize it so you can see the whole thing. Let me do that. So Premiere, it's an Adobe product, of course, and it's very complicated. Just like all Adobe stuff, there's tons of stuff to know, but only a few things you really need to know before you can just start doing some cool stuff. So that's what we'll focus on. Now, of course, the videos on that website show you all this stuff. If you click on these, it shows you all these things, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview just to get you started if you don't want to watch all the videos right now. So I got in, I can't do a whole lot. The first thing to do is to bring in some files. So I'm going to import media files. I like to right click just in that area and say import. And then it opens up my Windows files, and I'm going to go straight to downloads. And I've got tons of downloads from assignments and stuff. Once it loads, it's going to have that zipped folder that I just downloaded from the Adobe website. I think I did download it. There it is. Okay, create project. I got to click on this. So I just opened up a new window, and I'm going to click this extract button right here because it's a zipped folder. It's got the little zipper on the icon. I'm going to click extract. This is in the downloads folder. And once that is done, oh, right here, extract all. And it's just going to put it, yeah, I want it to go to my downloads. That's fine. Click extract. So I've downloaded it, it's in my downloads folder, and I'm extracting it to get all the files out of it. And then we'll bring them in, we'll import them into Adobe Premiere. Looks like they have a lot of stuff here. I haven't even opened this yet, I haven't tried it. There it is. Okay, I'm just going to minimize these, and I'm going to go back into here and redo this. I'm going to right click again here, go to import, and back up to downloads, and then it should show it. There we go. Create projects. There's a Mac version too. If you're on a Mac, you can go into that folder, and it's got the same files, just maybe a little different for Macs. So they've got projects here. I'll show you that in a second. But I'm just going to go into the media files folder right now. Here's their videos. And they've got some cool videos that we can play around with. And they're going to show us some specific things on how to do some things. They've got an MP3, some audio. So I'm just going to, can I select all these? Control A and click OK. It's going to import all of those. Now it doesn't really change the location of them. It just links them up. It's kind of like Audition when we use that. It links them up to that folder location. And so here they all are. If I click on them once, maybe double click, it brings them up into the source viewer, and then I can play them from here. And it shows me just the short clips that they have, some pretty awesome drone footage, looks like. I can even, if I just hover over this and kind of scrub back and forth, I'm not even clicking, I'm just hovering, it shows me what the clip is. As long as I don't have it selected, it looks like. So they're just really short clips. You got some boys playing soccer in the pouring rain. You noticed. Okay, now those are the clips and the audio. Now we can just drag these. Oh, we need a timeline, and so sequence rather, the timeline, I guess. If I go up to sequence, the sequence menu, nope, file menu, new, and new sequence right here. This is the timeline that we need to be able to put the video and the audio clips on to start editing it. So I'm going to rename this. Learn video editing, just the name of the assignment. Okay. I'm not worried about the settings yet as far as the video. There's 100 different video settings, and once I bring one of these video clips onto the timeline, it will have it change. It will ask if I want to change the video anyway. So I'm just going to click and drag right over to here. There's a V1 layer and A1, A2, A3, so video and audio. I'm just going to stick it on this first one right at the beginning, and see here it says doesn't match, the clip doesn't match the sequence settings, do you want to change it? And yeah, I always change the sequence settings. That matches the video settings, and that's the quality, whether it's high definition, whether it's 4K video, or whatever it is. Okay, so here it is. If I click and drag through the timeline now, scrub through, it's going to show me that video. So now that I've got that video, I can drag other clips in, just click and drag, and I can just throw them on the timeline wherever I want them. And I'm going to get the audio here. It looks like there's a couple audio clips, and I'm going to put those on the audio timeline. In fact, we already have audio here from the clip, but here is the sound, whatever it is. I haven't even checked it yet. And I can play with that sound. Look, I can do multiple, looks like some of it's maybe dialogue and some of it's music. So if I press spacebar, it plays it. It's already pretty awesome. I can mute these. So So this is the music track. Oh, whoops! It's record. Oh, I was recording a voiceover. I definitely don't want to do that. Oops. Here's the mute right there. So I'm going to mute this. It was recording me talk. That was funny. So if I mute this track, I can just hear the audio or the music, which is pretty cool. If I mute that one and play this one, it's probably somebody talking, I'm guessing.
This is my story of returning home.
Yep. Okay, so
to the land of the eternal spring.
So what I want you to do for this assignment is to do this. I just want you to find clips, drag them over here onto the timeline, over the audio. I want you to edit the audio just a little bit because there's lots of big gaps between where she's talking, and we're just going to match up. We're just going to make a quick little intro video to whatever this is, but it's got cool video, it's got cool audio, good music. So let me just show you some basics here on how to get the video over here, cut the video up a little bit and the audio, move it around, and I'll show you a couple effects, but not too much. So just some of the very basics. Now I want to just change my layout a little bit. I'm just going to click right here next to this timeline on the left side of the timeline and drag it. I don't need as much space for the video once I figure out what I have, but I want lots of room for my timeline. I can go up and down with this to make sometimes I like this video a little bit bigger, but I want some space for my timeline. I've got a few audio tracks and a couple video that I want to use. As I play it, if I play the video, I can see it here. Sometimes that's a little small. I press the tilde key on the keyboard. It's right underneath the escape on the top left, the little squiggly line, and it goes full screen. That way I can see it a little bit better. And so I press that again, the tilde key underneath the escape, and it goes back. So it just toggles. So sometimes looks like whatever I have my cursor in and press the tilde, I didn't even realize that, it makes that full screen. That's kind of cool. Huh. Okay, so let me just, one thing I like to do is just see what video I have, what I'm working with. So sometimes I can just scrub through right here and check it out. Sometimes I like to double click and then scrub through or play it or whatever. So I'm just going to take a look at and see what I have. That's a really awesome crane shot of that lake. This one, yeah, has some sound. It's got some birds chirping, and then that sun flare comes out. That's awesome. I want that for my opening shot. So I'm going to just click and drag these that I just kind of dragged in quickly. I'm going to delete them. I press the delete key, not backspace, but delete. I want this for my opening shot. This one's really awesome. And I'm pressing spacebar to stop and play. Ooh, that's good. Now I don't need all this sound either. If it's going to be shorter, I can fade that in and out, and I can show you that later. But I want, and certainly I want her to start talking a lot sooner. So I'm going to, what you do is just hover over the end of any clip, audio or video, and you can drag it in or out, and that kind of cuts it a little. I'm going to zoom in also. If you click on this, so this bar right here goes left and right on the timeline. I don't have anything out here yet, so I'm going to zoom in because I'm not using all of this and I want to see these clips a little bigger. So clicking on the end of these things on this scroll bar, this zooms. See how it's zooming out? Those are getting smaller. Or I can zoom way in, but I want to see at least fill this with all this stuff, and then I can zoom in specific spots if I want. I love that it shows me the audio because I can tell exactly where she's talking, the waveform. So I'm going to click and drag this closer to the front and she's going to start talking. If I put my timeline bar kind of over here, then when I zoom it stays in that spot. So I'm going to zoom in pretty far. See right here I can see this waveform. This is where the birds are chirping, and then she starts talking. So I'm going to wait for that to end, and then she'll start talking.
This is my story of returning home.
Yes, ooh, that's great. And I might change this audio track down here later also, but we'll see. Okay, so I've got that really cool opening shot. What does she say after that?
To the land of the eternal spring.
Okay, well, let's try the lake. Why not? I don't know if that's the spring she's talking about. It might even be this thing, whatever this is. That might be the spring, I'm not sure. But I like the lake shot. I'm gonna stick it in there. Where'd it go? There it is. So I'm just going to click this and drag it over here. And I can't see where it's going. I don't really like that. Sometimes I stick it on the other track. However, then the audio is going to go over the top of some of the other audio. So I know there's actually nothing there. But sometimes I'm going to undo that. Control Z. Sometimes I like to zoom out before I put anything in there. I like to see everything that's on here. Because sometimes you drag it on there and it copies over something that you already had there. So if I click now, see, I can see that it's not, it's kind of a long clip. When I was zoomed in, I couldn't see where it was going exactly. So now I can. I like that better. So I'm just going to snap it to right next to the other one, so it just cuts to that shot.
Returning home.
And of course she's waiting forever to speak, so I'm going to zoom back in here. And I'm going to cut this clip. So this clip right here, I've got it selected. There's a tool right here called the razor tool right there. And so I'm going to click on that razor tool, and I can just cut wherever I want on any of these as long as they're active. These are active. This is inactive, active. So I can do inactive, and I don't think, oh, it did cut it. Okay, never mind. So that's, I think, bringing them in. It only sets them on active tracks, maybe? I don't know. Okay, I've got the razor tool. I'm just going to cut it right in the middle of this where she talks. In fact, I'm just going to go through and cut a few of them. And then I'm going to click this to get back to the selection tool. There's the shortcuts right there in parentheses V and C for the razor tool to cut. And I'm going to drag this one this way, drag this one this way, and then drag this whole thing that way. And see, now she's going to say that second line a little bit sooner, a lot sooner.
Home. To the land of the eternal spring.
Yeah, much better. So I'm just going to shorten this up quite a bit and not have so many gaps between. I'm going to shorten it up and not have so many gaps between where she speaks. And what does she say next? I'm going to mute this audio. I like it, or the sound, but you probably can't hear me as well.
A la tierra de mis raíces.
Okay, that's in Spanish. That's pretty cool. Why not?
To the people of the corn.
Okay, people of the corn.
Who built towering cities of limestone in verdant jungles.
Intriguing. Okay, I'm zooming out again because I don't know where I am. There we go.
Who still thrive in cities and colonial towns and on the shores of Lake Atitlan.
Okay, that one's a little too much, a little too long.
Esta es mi historia.
Ooh, this is
My land, my people, my history.
Okay, I like it, all except for this one I don't love. So I'm just going to use the razor tool, cut that one out, you're gone. And if I select it and press delete, it actually is gone. I'm going to shorten that up. I'm going to shorten this one up and stick it right there. I'm going to pull this down. Okay, so that's as long as I want it. Now my audio is my music track is way too long now, so I'm going to have to figure out. I probably won't cut it, but I'll probably just fade it in somewhere. I like the fade out. I think, whoops. Oh yeah, that's good. I like that right there. So I'm going to keep that. But I need to shorten this up a lot. I like the intro, but that's okay. I'm going to have to get rid of it. Audio is a hard thing because, I mean, the music track, because I love starts and I love finishes, but you have to match it to the size of your clip, and you got to get rid of one or the other. You can't. It's a lot harder to cut it right in the middle because you notice usually. Okay, so now at the beginning, it starts up pretty loud, and so I'm going to fade that in. I'll show you a fade real quick. If you click up here on effects, right there it brings up a menu second, and it should start like this. I've got video transitions, video effects, audio transitions, audio effects. There's all sorts of stuff here. I want an audio transition. I just want it to fade in. So right here we've got this cross fade, constant power, constant. Yeah, there's a lot here, but you can play around with those. I'm just going to go constant power and stick it on that timeline there. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go back to editing here so I have more space. And I'm going to zoom in on that. Okay, I've got this constant power. I believe that's just a fade in. Yep, see how it faded in? It starts with no sound. It fades in pretty quick, and I could drag that out farther if I wanted. In fact, I will, because I like the birds chirping. Yeah, I don't love that start. I could work with that. I could maybe cut somewhere in the middle and crossfade it. But anyway, I'm going to fade it even more. In fact, I'm going to pull it back this way. Nope, that didn't work. I don't know if it'll let me... Oh, I guess it can. So I'm just going to pull the whole thing this way, because I want it to start with no sound at all, and then it'll fade in.
This is my story of returning home.
Okay, also the sound is way too loud. We don't want it to go over the top of the dialogue. The dialogue's really important. We want to be able to hear that. So let me show you a little trick here. I'm going to increase the size of that. Is that going to work? No, not real well. I got to go from the bottom. I'm going to zoom in on this right here. And then scroll wheel. Nope, I'm going to do this. Okay. So here's my audio tracks. There's a lot of things you can do. Okay, I don't have video. By the way, video, I can drag the video. Let me find something else that's cool. Let me get past the audio for just a second. Zoom back out. Okay, I definitely don't want this clip near me. In fact, I'm going to take just part of this. Okay, I need to get moving here. Right here, and then for this next audio, I'm going to stick a different video clip. I really need to mute that.
Raíces. You're returning home to the land of the eternal spring. A la tierra de mis raíces.
Okay, so I'm just going to find one more clip real quick. If I come back over to here, whoa, what is this? Close that one. I don't know where that came from. Okay. I'm going to get this clip in the rain. Why not?
A la tierra de mis raíces. To the people of the corn.
People, I'm going to do this of these little boys. Shorten it up. Let's shorten this one up just a little bit too. And I want to zoom in because it just snaps to too many things when I'm zoomed out. Actually, I do want to come back out here. Okay, anyway, it's moving things around, it's placing things.
Who built towering cities.
There's so many good clips in here, actually, that I want to use, but let's put this one next. Let's put, I like this one a lot. I don't, because it's a really different. Okay, anyway, I'm just throwing clips on there. You can stack them up here even. Sometimes I kind of like to go in line on just one track. Okay, back to the audio. We don't want the music, the background music, to overpower the dialogue is what I was saying. So, and it sounds like it is.
This is my...
Oops, it's still muted.
My story of returning home to the land of the eternal spring.
Yeah, see, it's way too loud. So I can just come down here. There's this one bar right in the middle of the audio track. And I'm just going to pull that way down. Way too loud.
This is my story of returning home.
Okay, now the fade, it can fade in a little sooner.
This is my story of returning home to the land of the eternal spring.
Okay, I can actually come a little bit louder.
A la tierra de mis raíces.
Okay, so now I can still hear the dialogue, which is good, but I can also hear the background music. The other thing to do is when someone speaks, you can actually dip the sound in that moment. So if I hover over this line that's right in the middle, this line, the audio line, the volume, I can hold down Control on the keyboard and click, and it gives me a little marker, and I'm going to do that 4 times, 2, and then on the end, right there, and right there. So I'm dipping down so that I can hear this audio, just to show you how that works. So this one right here, I can pull it down. And this one here. So what it's going to do, it's going to fade out. In fact, I'll fade out just before it starts talking. And then it fades back in after it's done talking. So listen.
A la tierra de mis raíces.
Okay, that's pretty dramatic, and I don't probably need it faded out that much, but you can play around with that, and that's kind of fun to do. Okay, well, I think that's the main stuff. Oh, I need to fade in also. Let me just show you that real quick. Back to the effects. So I did a audio fade. This time I'm going to do a video effect. Video transition, actually. And this dissolve right here, this cross dissolve, is the most popular. It's my favorite. Pretty simple. So I'm going to stick it right on the first audio clip, and that's the same thing, but it fades from black. And of course you can click and drag to make it bigger or smaller, just like I did before. And there's so many effects over here, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Let's go back to editing. And I think you have an idea of what I'm looking for here. It fades in. Got the birds chirping, the music fades in. It's having a hard time playing it now. And my computer's slowed down. Ooh, that's rough. Okay. Come on. I can press the tilde and get the audio, whoops, wrong one. Get the video clip bigger and just watch it and listen to it. It's pretty awesome.
This is
as long as it... Okay, show you real quick how to export it when you're done with it. I've got it how I want, not really, but I will soon. And when I'm done with it, I've got about 30 seconds, a little less than 30 seconds. And the whole thing, I just want to export it. And so I come up here to File, Export, Media. And there's some options here. I don't want it an animated GIF. I want it, in fact, that's probably not default. It's H.264 is the most popular one right now. H.264, and it becomes an MP4 right here. But if I click right here, I can choose where I want to save it to. And I'm in my 3D animation. Well, whatever, I'm not really going to save it. So pick where you save it and what you call it. It's the name of the sequence right now. And really, all the other stuff is can be default. And then if you click, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to bring it up. Yeah, right here. When you're done with it, click export. So really just make sure you change this, make sure it's an MP4 and that it's saving where you want it. Click export, it exports it as a nice video, and that's what you can submit. Okay, I think that's it. Good luck, have fun. Video's the best. I think you'll have fun with it. We'll do a couple little projects, but this is the first one. So play around with that timeline. Let me know if you have questions.